In the beginning, my name is Greta Ellingson, and I swore I'd never go back. Not to that house. Not to that town. Not to that past. For 10 long years, I kept my distance. I built walls so high that even the memories couldn't climb over them. I lived in a city where no one knew my name, where no one whispered about that family. I had a quiet life, a job I liked, a small apartment filled with books, plants, and peace. But trauma doesn't vanish just because you escape the room it was born in. It waits, sometimes for years. And then, in the dead of night, it knocks. For me, it came in the form of a phone call at 12:16 a.m. The number was blocked. I almost didn't answer. But something in me, something I didn't want to believe still cared, picked up. The voice on the other end was soft. Nervous. Is this Greta Ellingson? I hesitated. I hadn't used that name in a long time. Yes, I'm calling from St. Jude's Medical in Kielder. Ridge. Your mother was admitted tonight. Hypothermia, severe bruising, suspected internal trauma. She was found unconscious outside her home. My mouth went dry. I stared at the wall, willing my heart to slow down. It didn't. The nurse continued, carefully, as if she knew I needed the words in pieces. She's stable, but she wouldn't have lasted much longer. The paramedics said she was out there for hours. Do you know her son, Milo? Yes, I knew Milo. Better than anyone. The nurse lowered her voice. He said she fell. But, Miss Ellingson, I don't think that's what happened. The line went quiet. All I could hear was the sound of my own. Heartbeat pounding like war drums in my chest. I'll be there in a few hours, I whispered, already reaching for my coat. It was snowing when I left. Thick, heavy flakes that covered the streets like ash. The highway was almost invisible beneath it, and the wind howled like something angry. But I didn't care. I didn't stop. I didn't even blink. I drove 200 miles through the kind of storm that makes headlines. The kind they warn you not to drive in. But I wasn't heading into danger. I was the danger now. I arrived just as the sky turned pale with morning. The hospital looked the same as I. Remembered it. Small, cold, quiet, like the town itself had never grown. Beyond its own grief. I found my mother in room 203. She looked smaller, pale, fragile. A ghost of the woman I once knew. Her face was bruised. Her hands were scratched. Her lips were cracked from the cold. But she was breathing. And when I reached out and touched her fingers, she flinched just slightly, but enough to tell me she was still in there. The nurses told me she hadn't spoken, that she was confused. They thought it was the trauma, the exposure. But I knew better. It was fear. Fear of what would happen if she spoke. You see, my mother was a woman who built her life around protecting men who didn't deserve it. First, my father, charming and cruel, who left us when I was 12 but never really left. His ghost haunted every decision she made. Every time she smiled through tears. Every time she said, "It's not that bad." Then came Milo's father, the second shadow. He never smiled. He didn't need to. His anger was the kind that filled a room before he even stepped into it. When he died in a car crash, I thought maybe we'd be free. But Milo had already learned how to inherit the silence. He wasn't loud. He didn't shout. He didn't throw things. He was worse. He was calculated, soft-spoken, manipulative. He knew how to twist words, how to play victim, how to smile at the police officer and say, "I'm just worried about my mom." I left that house at 17, after he broke my arm and told everyone I'd slipped on the stairs, after my mother begged me not to report him, after the sheriff looked me in the eyes and said, "Families fight. Just be careful next time." I promised myself I'd never return, that I'd never look back. But here I was. And Milo was waiting for me. I went to the house the next morning. Same white siding. Same broken wind chime. Same driveway that hadn't been shoveled in weeks. He opened the door like nothing was wrong, wearing that smug, casual grin he used to wear when he lied to teachers and got away with it. "Greta," he said, arms outstretched. "Wow, it's been forever." I didn't speak. I didn't know you were coming. "Mom's okay, right? She just slipped. She's been drinking again." I stared at him, the silence between us heavier than snow. Then I walked past him into the house. It smelled the same. Old wood, stale coffee. That faint, sour scent of secrets that had been left to rot. But things had changed too. He had nicer things now. New furniture. Big TV. Designer shoes by the door. Milo had always known how to charm money out of people. Especially women. I stayed 2 nights. I told him I was just here to check on Mom's things. To help with bills. He believed me. Of course he did. He'd forgotten that I was no longer the scared little sister who used to hide in closets. He didn't realize I'd spent the last 10 years becoming someone dangerous. I watched. I listened. I recorded. I found the unpaid credit cards, the missed court summons, the emails threatening legal action. I found the bottle of pills he'd filled 2 days before Mom fell. I found the receipts for liquor he bought in her name. And I found the old bruises on the bathroom. Mirror dull fingerprints on the glass where she'd once braced herself. I took photos. I backed up files. I logged into his computer using an old password he once used for everything. Golden Boy 92. Of course. There were things on that laptop. Messages. Threats. Pictures. Other women. Some too young. He wasn't just abusive. He was dangerous. And so I did what no one else had ever done for my mother. Or for me. I fought back. Not with fists. Not with screams. But with silence and fire. I called his parole officer. Yes, he had one. For a bar fight he forgot to mention in court. I called the loan collectors and gave them his new address. I sent an anonymous tip to Child Protective Services about one of the girls he was seeing. And finally, I sent every file, every photo, video, and voice recording to my friend Kara, who worked as an investigative reporter in the city. By the time I left Kielder Ridge again, Milo's kingdom was crumbling. Within 2 weeks, he was arrested on multiple charges. His name was smeared across every local news outlet. And this time, no smile could save him. As for my mother, she's in a trauma recovery home now. She's getting help. Real help. Not from people who tell her to forgive and move on, but from women who understand what it means to survive. And me? I tell this story not to glorify revenge, but to remind you, sometimes justice doesn't come wrapped in a courtroom verdict. Sometimes it comes in the form of a woman who refuses to stay silent. If you've stayed with me this long, thank you. Subscribe to my channel. Like the video. Share it if it made your heart clench or your fists tighten. Because there's one thing I want every girl, every survivor, every soul walking through the fire to hear. You are not what they did to you. You are what you choose to do next. You are the storm they never saw coming. Break the silence. Break the cycle. And never, ever let them write your ending.